Well, hello everybody. Welcome to P.B.M. Money. Today I'm going to talk about something that we on the finance channel really don't want to talk about because it admits that we had a problem. And this was the problem. Have you ever had credit card debt, a lot of credit card debt, and tried to get yourself out of it, and it just was taking forever to get out? I've done that. Not recently, but I have done that. And I'll tell you, one of the most frustrating things is you send in a payment of $100, and when you get your next bill, it only went down $25. Holy cow, I mean, that'll take forever to pay off. So I sat down, that was many years ago, okay? So today I sat down and I thought about, if that happened to me today, what would be the quickest way to get out of it? And I came up with 5 different alternatives, only 2 of which require good credit, but we'll get there. Now the first one is to get a balance transfer credit card. Now you can Google this online. The one I've got is the City something Premier. And it's that card, I actually looked it up. That card was designed and is specifically for balance transfers. It is one of the best in the market. I believe it has 18 months interest free. There is a fee to transfer, but no interest. Now, I'm going to differ with Dave Ramsey, and I do differ with him on several items, and this is one of them. When he teaches his students to pay down their debt, he teaches them to pay down the biggest balance first. I disagree for several reasons. First off, let me start by saying he is accurate in that you will save money in the long term. Problem is, we don't live in the long term. We're living right here and right now, and the credit card pain is real, and the debt collection calls are real. So let's talk about right here and right now. If I had 5 credit cards, and they all were maxed out at, say, I don't know, $1,000, okay, and the minimum balance on each one of them was $50. I'm just making numbers up, okay? So here's what I would do. Instead of putting $100 on each one, I would pay the minimums on 4 of them. And then on the smallest one, I would take the minimum plus the difference on the rest of them. So if the minimum is 50 on 4 of them, and you normally pay 100, that's 200 plus the 50 minimum on the first one. You now can throw $250 a month at that card. In 4 months, it'll be paid off. Then you go to the next card. Now you have $250 plus that one. So now you got $300 you can throw at that one. And that one will be paid off in 3 months and a dab. Now this all assumes that the interest is stopping, okay, by putting it on a balance transfer card or some of the others we're going to talk about. If you leave them there, it'll take an extra month. But that's how you knock those out, okay? Balance transfer card, smallest to largest. So by the time you get to that last card that's got the biggest balance, instead of throwing $250 at it each month like you were at the other one, now you're going to throw $500 a month at it. That makes a little bit more sense to me. And by the time you get to that big one, you've already got the rest of them paid off. That makes more sense to me. In case you don't know what a balance transfer card is, a balance transfer card is a credit card where you can move a balance from one credit card where you're paying interest, and you can move it to your balance transfer card where you don't pay interest for a set amount of time. And right now I think the longest one on the market is 18 months, but don't quote me on that. Google it and find out. But that means 18 months of not paying interest, that every penny you pay is going to go towards retiring that debt. That's a powerful tool if you need it and you use it properly. I think that's a great idea. Okay. The next one I want to talk about is a side hustle. Okay? You do not need good credit to have a side hustle. You can do anything. Mow grasses, or mow grass. Our ministry has bulk candy machines. Wash cars. Get a part-time job. But every penny that you make on that side hustle, you throw at your debt. You pay that off. If you just mowed 2 yards a week, I currently pay $35. It's a very small yard. That's $70 a week for 2 yards. 70 times 4 is $280. 6 months in a year is $1,400. In one summer, you can knock out $1,400 by just mowing a couple of small yards. Side hustle. Again, does not require any good credit. Now, the next one, and I've done this for years now for our ministry, not because of to paying down debt, and that is to get a personal loan. Now, if you can't get a balance transfer card for whatever reason, try getting a personal loan. The personal loan I've got is under 5%, and I pay it off in 12 months. I get one every year, and here's the reason. Our ministry does not generate a lot of cash, but I'd like to have cash on hand for the year. So I take the cash, I put it in the ministry account, and then each month when the payment comes due, I take what little cash flow we do have and I pay that loan off in a year. Then the next year I do it again and again and again and again. And it's really paid off. It's done really well for us. The ministry can easily pay the loan back. I don't try to get really big on it. I think the biggest one I ever had was $1,500. Normally I get $1,000, $1,200, something like that. But yeah, so if you're paying 5% on a personal loan, you're not paying 21% on a credit card. So you'll still be paying interest, but at a lot lower rate. And I know that this is a viable alternative because I get bombarded in my emails every single day from the credit bureaus. Hey Brian, come get a loan, pay off your debt. No, I'm good. But it is an option, and it's a good option if you're paying 21% interest and you're trying to pay down your debt. Now, this last one, I know people that watch me are tired of hearing this, but I'm going to keep yelling and screaming about an emergency fund. You need to have an emergency fund. And you say, well, what's that got to do with paying down my debt? Well, I'll tell you. Because this happened to me years ago when I was in that position trying to pay down my debt. Life happens. Okay? So that $500 in our scenario earlier that we were paying down, what if your refrigerator breaks? Now you don't have $500. And you're going to scrape just to make the minimums on the rest of the cards, and now each month the interest builds up, and it builds up, and all the traction that you gained, now you're worse off than when you started. If you have an emergency fund, you can take the cash, take care of your emergency, and continue to pay down those credit cards. The worst thing that can happen is that you start to build momentum, you start to make a little headway, and life happens, and now you've lost it all, and you wasted, however many months paying down that, and you look back and the balance is right back where it was 4 months ago. Don't make that mistake. Get your emergency fund, keep it funded, and if you have to take a little bit away from the original 500, if you could only throw 75 at it and take the rest and put into your emergency fund, do that. But get that emergency fund funded and keep it available. The point I wanted to make here is most people on these channels, the finance channels, pay our credit cards off every single month. Okay? Nobody ever addresses what happens when you get into a position. I mean, as an example, we just went through a pandemic. How many people got into that position because they couldn't work and they had to live? So they charged a year worth of groceries. So now you got $5,000, $6,000 sitting on a credit card and earning, 21% interest, and now you're going to try to pay it off. If you use these tips, you can stop or lower the interest and pay those off a lot quicker. Okay? It is not, having life happen and having emergencies is nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to feel bad about. It happens. And it will happen again. Maybe not the same one, but life happens. Try to prepare yourself so when emergencies happen, you can take care of the emergency and still stay on target with your goal of paying off your credit cards. A lot of people would just file bankruptcy, and you can. You could do that and start fresh. No shame in that either. But if you don't go through the pain of paying it off and the discipline of not using the credit cards, you'll be right back in the same mess again. I've seen it over and over and over. If you go through the hassle and the time and the pain to pay your credit cards off, when you get done, you ain't gonna want to do that again. You will be much more disciplined on your credit cards, trust me. Well, this is the plan that I would use right now if I was back in the soup and trying to pay off my credit cards. I hope it works for you. Let me know if I was able to help you at all. You guys have a great day, a great week, and happy investing.